We got to have the fastest episode of Entertain This, episode 32.
Yeah, that.
Podcast about movies, TV shows, and video games. I'm Hayden. This is
Mitch.
This is
Tam.
And the reason why we're moving really fast is because we got started late and we have things to do afterwards, mainly work. So I'll knock this off. First, let's talk about the social media. Take it away, Mitch.
On Facebook, you get Entertain This Podcast, which is the group. Then you have Entertain This, which is our Facebook page. On Instagram, it's at this.entertain. On Twitter, it's entertain.this. We have a YouTube channel, and then we also have the Twitch channel.
Entertain_this.
Well said.
We also have our Patreon, which is patreon.com. Entertain_this.
Yep. And if you want us to talk about specific content or anything, just comment on one of our social mediums, and we will facilitate those means. And
I did it without my book.
You did it. I'm very proud of you.
It only took 32 episodes.
Yep. Very proud of you. Each week, we do a thing called a punishment, where one of us spins a wheel, and the victim gets picked by the wheel to review a crappy movie, TV show, or video game by one of us. So, like last week, Tom punished me by making me watch Superman 4.
And the quest for peace.
Which was something. So I'll talk about that real quick. Well, it's definitely the worst of the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. It actually went under a new production company when it got bought out after episode 3. Or what do they call it? Movie 3? I don't even know. What do they call it?
Superman 3.
Superman 3s. Yeah. So movie 4, or Superman 4, it starts out with like Lex Luthor in a prison. He's like breaking rocks, and his nephew Lenny
Luthor.
Yeah.
Lenny Luthor, which is this goofy looking douche that rolls up in a.
He's the guy from 2.5 Men. That's like the real nerdy one.
Oh yeah, I never put that together. No
It's
way.
the other guy. It's not Charlie Sheen. The other one.
Yeah, it's the other guy.
It's not Charlie Sheen. It's the
other guy.
The one that actually has the kid.
Yeah, and like makes it through the entire show.
Yeah.
He plays Lex Luthor in like a crossover thing.
Yeah, in the CW Supergirl.
Oh really? Huh. But anyway, he breaks him out by tricking these cops to like drive his car, and he pushes a button and the car like activates the convertible top, and then he drives it off of a cliff, and it explodes, and you think that the guards died, but you just like see an explosion and like Lex Luthor going ooh, and then you see him like crawling out of the debris with like smear on their faces and stuff like that, and you're like stupid, but yeah. The whole premise of the movie is that Superman is convinced by a third grader who sent him a note, like Santa Claus, that he needs to collect all the nuclear arms in the world
Like
and destroy them. So he agrees, and he gets all of Russia, America, China, everybody. They shoot their nukes into space. He collects them, puts them in a giant net, and then like whips them around, like the Olympic thing with the ball and the.
Yes, the entire world agrees to launch their nukes away from the planet.
Well, like the shot put.
Yeah, the shot put thing. And then he like whips it off into the sun, and it goes off in the sun. Well, Lex Luthor catches wind of this plan, and he puts some DNA that he collected from Superman, and he did this like high school chemistry thing. They put this goop into a nuke, and then he tricked Superman into throwing it in the sun. And lo and behold, when it
detonates,
it creates nuclear men.
Like the DNA is just not incinerated, eviscerated upon.
I don't know. So nuclear man comes out of the sun, and it has the voice of Lex Luthor, which is the worst ADR that I've ever seen. Like Superman must kill Superman, which it's pretty.
He becomes sentient and just goes, "I must kill Superman."
Yeah, that's the first thing he wants to do is kill Superman.
He's been programmed for it.
And he's got these like long metallic nails. He scratches Superman. Superman gets sick. He looks like he's going through chemotherapy. His hair's falling out. He goes on a date with Lois Lane and some chick from the Daily Planet as Clark Kent and Superman at the same time. So they do the whole like, ring the doorbell. Clark Kent shows up and he's like, "Oh, can I use your bathroom?" And then Superman flies to the window and all this other kind of stuff. It gets really old really fast, but it's like a 15-minute scene. And
this morally great Superman dating two women at once that live in the same apartment.
that is true. That was so stupid. I just can't believe that Lois Lane has not figured it. I guess she got her memory wiped at some point.
In the second movie, yes, at the end of the second movie.
Is that another one of Superman's powers?
No, it's like some sort of machine thing he does to her.
A machine thing he does. Well, at one point, the Great Wall of China blew up, and Superman just goes, "Bah," and like it rebuilds back together.
Yeah, he just looked at it like intently, and
Like-
the wall rebuilt itself.
Yeah,
Little did we know he's actually a wizard, and he had a wand in his hand.
something.
And he's like, Wallow, Reparo.
What's funny is like, so Nuclear Man and Superman have this fight in outer space, and they crash in the Great Wall of China, and they blow it all up. Only white people were on the Great Wall of China.
No Chinese
No
people.
Chinese people whatsoever. You know, so
Country of like 1 billion people.
Well,
not
actually,
one of them around.
it's more like you see a whole bunch of people falling off the wall, and Superman saves one person, and it's a white person. So can't speak for everybody else that was a casualty, but I guess he had his priorities.
He's like, yeah, there's billions of them. It doesn't matter.
So it was
Truth,
stupid.
justice, in the American way.
Yeah.
Even in China.
That was, so, I mean, I can see it's got a corny appeal to it. It's just like the original Superman was supposed to be taken seriously. You know, you will believe a man can fly and all this other stuff. And now it's just such poorly composited green screen nonsense and ugly effects and stupid plot devices that have nothing to do with comic books. Really, the whole movie had nothing to do with the comic book.
Pretty much no.
So, yeah, I mean, if you're just like wanting to see Christopher Reeves in tights running around and fight people on the moon. Oh, funniest part. So Nuclear Man gets obsessed with one girl for some reason.
Is it
abducts
Lois
her.
Lane?
No, it's the other girl.
Oh,
Yeah.
the one
Clark's
Superman's dating?
Yeah.
Another one Clark's dating.
Yeah, that's the
Oh.
one Clark's dating. Superman's dating Lois Lane.
Mm.
So he gets obsessed with this girl, and I think I just rubbed.
Yes, revenge. So quick backstory. I went to the bathroom before we did this, and I come back.
went
I took
poop.
a sip
Like
of my
always.
Red Bull, and they had put the
5 minutes
stupid
before
hot
recording.
sauce on the rim, and like my chest lit on fire. But you getting in your eye is amazing right now.
Well, seeing as how I had nothing to do but being a witness to it, I'm glad that both of you got to hurt and I didn't.
Oh my gosh. Why did I do that?
God, it's like getting OC'd, isn't it?
Anyway, so Superman goes to the Nuclear Man goes to the moon with this girl. She doesn't have a spacesuit. She's just like holding on to him. And he's just like throws her on the ground, fights Superman, and then Superman beats him up.
On the moon.
On the moon, beats her up, takes her back to Earth. She's fine. No space asphyxiation or anything like that. You know, just whatever.
You could totally breathe out there.
Our atmospheric
It's-
reentry.
They just give up on that stuff. How does he beat him? I forget how he beats him. Oh yeah, he traps him in a nuclear reactor and he like powers the world.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
like throws them into like some kind of nuclear reactor or something.
So they seal them in a reactor and go, well, free energy forever.
You just see like all the lights. I don't know, in New York or something like that, like power up.
Because like Nuclear Man only has power if he's within sunlight for whatever reason.
One of the funniest things about that movie.
So
was,
the best time to fight him is at night.
Yeah,
Yeah, he does like power down. One of the funniest things in the movie was the extras because they're so horrible. I don't think they knew what was going on because they had like these like cut-ins like where you could just tell like they got a bunch of extras together and they gave them some like mediocre direction.
Mm-hmm.
And
Be shocked.
yeah,
Oh.
so like Superman is saving the Statue of Liberty from crashing into New York. He's
it's been
pick-
picked up and thrown.
Yeah, he's picked it, so he catches it and he's gonna go like move it back to the pedestal. There's this like one dude in a taxi cab. He's just like, "Hey, look at that."
See this?
All the other people are like, oh, and he's just like,
He's like center frame, just like
It's like, what,
Yeah.
you've never seen Superman before?
that's another Tuesday for
I mean,
me.
yeah, it's Tuesday in Metropolis.
It's like, that's nothing. You should have saw him back in 78. I saw him pick up the Empire State Building.
And the funniest part is like how crappy Superman's costume is because you can see the stitching in his cape. Like a middle school mom just like made some like cheapo Halloween costume for a kid, you know? Yeah. It's not specifically my mom. I don't know.
Did he do the phone booth change?
No, he did in a car.
He did do a couple of phone booth changes.
Was it in a phone booth?
Well, I mean, he did.
That's like,
He did one where he climbed through a limousine. Came
Yeah,
up to
the back of the car. Yeah.
because there's one in the first one where he runs into a phone booth when those still existed.
Yeah.
And there's like all these people around. It's a busy street, runs inside, spins really fast, walks out as Superman. It's like, and not one person went, wait a minute.
He does catch Lois Lane in one of his crazy dating transition things. He catches her falling off of a building for some reason, and because
She
she's
falls
always
off buildings
she's always
a
falling
lot.
off buildings. But he catches her, and he still has his glasses on, and she's like, huh? And he's like, oh, Lois. And she's like, oh, Superman. That's what did it. So this is a movie that's trying to take itself seriously, mind you. So, yeah, it gets a 3 because it wants to be serious and it's definitely not.
The first 2 Superman movies were really, really good.
Yeah.
This one was not.
This one pretty much just kills the franchise.
Until... What, Superman Returns?
Around 2000 or something?
2006 was the Brandon Routh Superman Return, which killed it even further. And then Henry Cavill comes in and
It
saves
wasn't horrible.
It was.
It wasn't great.
It wasn't great.
horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. They try to they do like a soft reboot where they were trying to pick up where the last Superman left off with Christopher Reeves. So they were like kind of supposed to be the same universe, and then they just did it right by the Zack Snyder reboot, hard reboot. So yeah, it's a 3 because it essentially like put comic book movies back a decade. That's how bad that movie was. So
That was the
And
last
then
comic book movie.
they put it back further with the Brandon Routh one.
yeah.
And then Marvel was like, Iron Man?
Batman was doing okay, though, up until Clooney and Kilmer took
Up until Batman Forever.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, if you have any ideas that some of us should be punished with, throw it up on our Facebooks or whatever, and we'll add it to the wheel. And you'll see what that is later on in the episode. Now we do news and reviews where we talk about stuff that you do want to hear about involving movies, TV shows, and video games. Let's start with Mitch.
All right, well, I had movies, and because we had a lot going on, it's an older movie, but I thought it was a good one. Interview with the Vampire. That's something I recently watched. We smirking it.
Because you love that movie. It's like the weirdest movie that you would think that Mitch would be into.
Yeah, it's not, I thought it would be like The Wrestler.
Because I originally had, I've read the books now, and you go back, but then you get to watch Brad Pitt, and Tom Cruise in their early careers.
Mm-hmm.
You get to watch Antonio Banderas learning English while making the movie,
Yeah.
and then you get Kirsten Dunst, which for a child actor that was a pretty good performance.
She was a good child actor, yeah.
But it was neat to see.
What year was this movie?
94?
No, I think. I want to say it was like around 96, but I mean it's a great movie. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just
I'm
great.
assuming at
So-
some point they interview a vampire.
Well,
Have you never seen it?
No.
No.
so the Anne Rice vampire novels, it's not like the Twilight crap. It's real vampires, and they have like cults, and they want to like eat people. They'll drink their blood, and there's a group of vampires that visualize humans as cattle. And there's a group of vampires that just want to like live amongst the humans and really be seen. And like you can live forever without ever drinking the blood of humans. You just become more monstrous and grotesque looking.
No.
Yeah, isn't that what happened to Tom Cruise? That one part?
No, that's if you don't feed.
That's what I just said.
It doesn't have anything to do with eating on animals, though.
Oh, so you can eat animals and you can be fine?
Yeah, I mean
Okay.
they don't like it because they talked about how like the blood gets cold or whatever too quickly.
Oh, is that 94?
Yeah,
Oh,
it was.
is that 94? Man, I'm good.
Oh, look at there.
That's a very lucky guess.
But I mean,
yeah.
essentially, this is like they describe it as kind of like the saddest vampires you'll ever meet because they're having to come to terms with their immortality and the way the world changes around them, and that's one of the big things that. That's why they like Louis, which is Brad Pitt's character, because his, as opposed to Lestat and Armand, which is Antonio Banderas and Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt's character of Louis is like right at the turn of the century, where I guess it's like the 1800s to 1900s.
Yes, they're still slaves.
And that, I mean, that's right where everything's changing, and he's able to accept it. What are you staring?
What?
Just like you were staring at Hayden's head.
No, it was. I looked up and like I saw his hair like do this weird. So I was like,
Well, first off, you did a thing.
all right, look, I was
Nope.
intentionally punished for no reason.
It's the rules.
That's what counts.
You said the S word.
Y'all decide. I'm not.
It's on
No.
camera, too.
Yeah, I walked in and got punished for nothing.
I'm not being a part of that. Y'all decide that one.
Do it.
I had to drink it.
Do it.
No.
Come on. You're gonna.
I will for the next one, but I was unceremoniously
You're gonna
punished
disappoint
for
the people.
no reason.
Yeah, you were punished for taking a poop right when we started. Come on.
Anyways, with the Anne Rice movies,
Just do it.
No.
the whole thing
Why?
behind
If I
Lestat's
curse
character
again, yes.
for Tom Cruise is that he's kind of upset because he got turned into a vampire against his will, and his whole thing is he gives Louis the chance to decide whether he wants to live or die.
Uh-huh.
And Louis has to come to terms, and Armand wants him to help him like adjust as the world's growing, and because of factors in the movie of Louis' what's her name? It's Kirsten Dunst's character being killed by Armand's people.
Well, let's not spoil the movie, but okay.
All right, so Kirsten Dunst is killed.
The movie from almost 20 years ago.
He hasn't seen it.
Well, that's
no reason to now.
All right.
But anyways, that's why Louis just does not really particularly like Armand. And Armand, there's a backstory that if you've read the books, you understand why Armand and Lestat hate each other.
If you're explaining the movie to like somebody hasn't seen it before, maybe you shouldn't explain the plot spoiling parts of the movie. You know what I mean? So, anyways,
it's a 20-year-old movie.
It is a 20-year movie.
We've discussed this before. But if it's an old movie, there's not a whole lot to spoil.
But we're not talking about it like we're talking about it to review it from a standpoint that in case anybody hasn't seen it before. So not like we're talking about a specific scene or something like that from the movie. You know what I mean?
Well, that's not really the whole plot. That's just a little smaller piece.
So in a nutshell, it's about a newer vampire from like the 1800s who's being mentored by an older vampire from France, like in the 1400s or something like that. And like they both kind of divert in their philosophies on how to treat people and stuff like that, right around the mid 1800s to the early 1900s.
Lestat is carefree and he'll kill anybody just because he wants to.
Mm-hmm.
Louis is more conservative, where he doesn't want to begin with. He doesn't want to kill. Eventually, he has to come to terms with, he has to feed on humans to survive.
So I'm guessing they were not born vampires.
No. There's none of that in this.
Okay, so they all had to be bitten.
Right.
Yep.
In the beginning of the movie, the whole reason Louis becomes a vampire is because his wife and child have died, and he's just kind of looking for someone. He's trying to convince people to kill him. Like he cheats at cards and tries to get this guy to shoot him, and then the guy backs down, and eventually, Lestat.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie. You should see it. Everybody should see it at least once.
At least once, yeah.
I might check this out.
It's for AMC. They're supposedly going to have a TV series of it now.
Oh wow.
They're still working on it.
Okay.
Is that your news?
Be better than
I didn't have TV news, but just including this in part of our discussion because I'm talking about the movie.
Sweet. Well, what would you rate this movie? Obviously,
I would give it an 8, just because I think the performances of these actors and actresses in such an early role for them.
What's keeping it from being a 10?
For me, I've read the book. There's a lot of points that they leave out that would make the movie make more sense as far as like the character development of some of them.
Okay.
It seems like it skips over parts, but it includes their reactions in the movies to each other.
Right.
But it skips over the parts that
why they're like that.
Reactions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, it would be a long movie, but
It would,
a lot
yeah.
of people would probably prefer that.
Yeah. There was probably out of 2/3 of the book, 1/3 of it was missing from the movie.
Wow.
That's a lot.
What?
It's smaller parts, but there's a couple of key parts that were left
there's always
out.
stuff you could trim out of the books.
Yeah.
But when it
What news have you for us, Mitch?
Well, if you like Marvel, prepare to be disappointed. Everything's being pushed back, except for evidently the WandaVision stuff. But I'll leave that to someone else to talk about.
So is that including Winter Soldier and all that stuff too?
I don't know. They haven't mentioned that one.
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
But I know like the Black Widow's getting pushed back to May of next year, so
That-
almost mid-year.
And that movie was originally set to come out in March of this year?
No, in May of this past year.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's essentially been pushed back an entire year, which evidently there's something important that happens in it because it has required that all the other MCU movies be pushed back, which is the Doctor Strange, the Shang-Chi movie, the Eternals movie, the new
some tells
Thor
me
movie.
that somehow she comes back to life.
Like the Marvel movies.
Because no one's really dead.
The Marvel movies did a really good job of trying to keep things as like current as possible. Like when Spider-Man dies in the one movie, spoiler alert, and he comes back in the other movie, and he's back in high school. They talk about what year it is when that movie comes out and what all has happened and stuff like that for just like a minute here and there. But they try and have some throwaway lines that make you feel current. What are they going to do when everything's been done for a year and Corona breaking and stuff like that? And are they going to come back and say like, okay, now it's 2021 You know, are they going to talk about the coronavirus for a year, and what are they going to do? I mean,
I don't know.
you know, so like they're going to have to address this gap in story at some point.
They did another thing I saw, which we talked about them being delayed, but the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness thing, they talked about possibly getting some big name actors just to be a multiverse version of some of the other characters.
Oh, okay, cool. That'd be
Well,
fun.
they said supposedly they've approached Tom Cruise to be a Tony Stark in one of the other.
The 90s Tony Stark.
No, he would just have like a small part in the movie. He wouldn't become Tony Stark, but he just to have.
I wouldn't want to be the
thing.
person who has to fill Robert Downey Jr.'s shoes.
Well, they had mentioned was it John Krasinski? Is that the?
Yeah.
That's the guy from Quiet Place. Like he would be one of the multiverse versions of Captain America in one of the universes they visit.
He's so tall.
And then another thing is
Chris Evans is tall.
Not
as tall as John Krasinski.
No.
For the Flashpoint movie, they've started talking about how they want to include some of the CW and like the other TV shows as part of like the multiverse, where these characters get to cameo for a small part.
Which they
of the movies.
did in that one thing because it was the dude from Smallville, Superman.
They talked about they want him to appear as like Superman for a small part and things like that. And then lastly, the Snyder Cut, Snyder Cut. All the Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, Henry Cavill, Jason Momoa, and then was it something Fisher? What's his first name? I don't remember. The guy who plays Cyborg.
I don't know.
That guy.
But all of them are going to reprise their role, like, and do new scenes because since they're making a series kind of thing now instead of one movie, they're going to reprise their roles and shoot new additional footage. And they've been given $70 million to
go
add
do
to
that.
the budget.
Here's what I want with that $70 million. When Batman and then all them try to recruit Cyborg, he just goes, "I already belong to a team," and like a car pulls up and Robin, Raven, and Starfire and Beast Boy are sitting in it.
Yeah.
But I mean, they've added new stuff to it, and all the people have agreed to come back. Like and Superman, Henry Cavill signed on for 3 new appearances as Superman in the DC.
Will he have a mustache?
I doubt it.
Is he contractually obligated to have a mustache?
No, I don't think so.
Supposedly, he's supposed to appear in the new Shazam movie when it comes out.
Oh, wow.
He's supposed
Because
to
he had a cameo bit at the end, right?
No, he didn't. It wasn't you didn't see his
technically him.
head.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
was Superman, but not.
Yeah.
he probably wasn't. There was just some big buff dude in a.
Tom,
Anyways, that's my news.
what have you for us? You played?
Well, I played Super Mario 3D Allstars.
Nice.
Downloaded it. It's actually, I think, the highest selling game this year in the UK.
Oh.
The number 2 for Switch for downloads ever, behind Animal Crossing.
Oh, wow.
A little bit of criticism. It seemed kind of like put together. Like, hey, here's 3 games. We're putting them in a package. There you go. There's no little content or special stuff.
Oh, there's nothing new.
No, it's not really new. But I mean, some of the stuff is upscaled for the graphics, but whatever. So it was all right. The gameplay, because I've only played Super Mario so far, and
64.
64, yes. It's like riding a bike I forgot I owned and that I had 20 years ago.
Yeah.
A lot of it's kind of like you're running around. It's like, why do I remember this particular spot? And then I'll face through the wall and go, oh, yeah, that's right. That did stuff.
Well, it's funny because like all 3 of those games probably hit different generations.
Yeah.
Because like I was looking at it and I played all 3 of them and I really enjoyed Sunshine the most. And that's the one that wanted me to buy the game. I haven't yet. But my wife saw 64 and she was like, man, I would love to play that game. And I was like, for $60 though? And she was like, nah. So
I'll bring my Switch over to your house. Your wife can just play.
Yeah, not for $60 though. If it was a $30 deal, that'd be great.
One of the things is like you get the 3 games. It is $60. You don't get any real bonus content or anything special that they've added. And a lot of people were kind of bummed because it didn't have was it Super Mario Galaxy 2?
Oh yeah,
Which I think was much more well received than the first
I never
one.
played the Galaxy 2. I only played the first one. So
I mean, I think they did a good job picking the 3 games for like each generation of who played what. Because like looking at it, I was like, Super Mario 64 on Switch. I was like, hell yeah, I want to play that. I haven't played that since the 90s. So it is kind of fun to jump in and get back on. Yeah, it came out in the 90s.
okay.
I played the original Mario. That's the only one.
That's
And Super Mario on Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
That's it.
Me and the kids are playing that. It's free on Switch right now.
Yeah.
So
It did have a little bit more backlash just because of that limited release that they're doing. Because they're not
Yeah.
going to sell it anymore after March
we should talk about that on the console level.
on the console level.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should. on the console level.
We should, but we're not, evidently.
You know what I'm talking about?
What, the limited release? Or you talk about the other thing?
Yeah, the pre-orders.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. That's part of my news.
All right, go ahead.
So, the news. The Xbox pre-orders have come and gone some places in seconds.
Yeah.
I think it sold out in the UK within an hour.
Yeah.
Australia was gone. New Zealand.
You can buy it on eBay.
Canada. Yeah, for a $1,200 average for a pre-order.
Yeah.
It's insane.
This was a horrible. This is the worst time ever in pre-ordering consoles.
Did you ever get the yes, or did you just say no? What about you?
No, when I went and looked at it,
I'm not settling.
it was sold out.
I'm not settling for the yes.
Because like the X just was gone, and then the S was there for about a day, maybe.
Yeah, it made it till it made it probably about till 10 o'clock.
Yeah, because when I looked around midnight just to see if it was on there, it was already sold out.
Because I knew around like 5 p.m. you could still get it on Best Buy.
Yeah.
Because when I called, like they did limited store, in-store pre-orders, like with GameStop, because I called them and they only had a couple that sold out. You know, as soon as 11 o'clock hit. But
you
then
know why? Because reportedly there was only like stores like GameStop and stuff got 6 to 8 copies,
which is
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
That's what I heard. I heard that each retail store had 6 to 12 copies, which means that probably the owner, like the people, employees of the stores,
got them
first.
and there was like 2.
I got the X.
You did.
Right.
You did manage to. How long did it take you to get it? To secure it.
So my wife comes bursting into the room. I sleep in the daytime, and she was like, "Wake up!" And she's like, "I can't get it." And I was like, "Ah!" So I get my phone out, and I cycle between Best Buy, GameStop, Walmart, Amazon, and something else. And
Newegg.
Yeah, Newegg. And then she goes through the same things, and we just keep going through. And then she finally was like, "Look, I'm just going to stay on this GameStop thing because it says
it will put you in a queue."
Yeah,
which they got criticized for.
Well, even if you just like type in GameStop.com, at that time it says you're in a queue. It doesn't even matter if you like want an Xbox or not. You just says you're in a queue. So she's like, "I'm just going to just wait here." And like about a half hour later, it said, "Would you like to pre-order?" And we did, put in the information, and they gave me a confirmation number. So I hope they didn't just take my money and give me some BS confirmation number. But
one thing I saw that Xbox One S or the Xbox One X sales on Amazon went up 700+% because a bunch of people bought it on accident.
See, I thought like Xbox has the dumbest marketing name for their consoles, but it's genius because people will accidentally buy the wrong console all the time now.
Which happened. It's like we still made money.
Yeah, they said that the Xbox One X, which is the current most best version you can get, went up 750%.
Yeah, and that was just on Amazon.
Yeah.
Of people buying it on accident.
What you need is the Xbox Series X. Okay, completely different.
But the a lot of the webs like GameStop with the queue thing that had a lot of problems. Best Buy, it would pop up, then it would disappear, pop up, disappear. And then a lot of people reported like when you ordered it and had it to the shopping cart, the website would remove it from the cart.
Yep, I've seen that. On Target did that.
Amazon kept crashing.
Yeah, there was a lot. Walmart was late. Like it's supposed to go live at 11, and then I think they didn't go live until like 1 or something like that.
So, but like, I woke up at like 2 and was trying to find, and it was gone.
I didn't bother.
It was a nightmare. Like the only reason why I wanted to make sure that I got it was because I don't trust Corona and all this other stuff for them to pump out a new generation of consoles before release date. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it works out for people.
This like the online pre-order thing is like it's good, but they were not prepared.
No, absolutely not. It's the worst year that we've ever seen it, and it gets worse every generation. It seems like.
Yeah, because it wasn't even this bad when PS4 and Xbox One came out.
What's the dumbest thing you've done to wait for a video game or a console or something like that?
I waited 2 hours to pre-order the PS4 when it came out, and that was just because I couldn't afford the Xbox.
I got the Xbox One a year after it came out, so I don't.
So you never like waited in line or done anything?
I've waited in line.
Spent too much money for something?
I've waited in line for the new Call of Duties before, like when Modern Warfare 3 came out.
I've done that for
I've gone
a single
when I was in college. Yeah, like me and my buddies would go to GameStop and just wait in line so we could pre-order it.
I waited in line for 24 hours for the Nintendo Wii.
Of all consoles, the Wii.
But it was fun because me and my buddy were like camped out. We were just like these. I walked up to the electronics section and I was like, "Hey, I'm here for Nintendo Wii." They're like, "It's coming out tomorrow." I was like, "No." They're like, "Oh God, it starts." So they're like, just have a seat in the bench.
How many people showed up in the time? Until
No, the second, like I was first in line, obviously. The second place person showed up like maybe 8 hours before it came out. So yeah, I was there for a long time.
for no reason.
Yeah, it was fun. I made like a little Facebook story out of it and whatever, and it was just to be stupid.
The only thing that would have made it better is if he camped out and nobody else showed up right when it released.
One thing I noticed, a lot of people were complaining about was a lot of people scalped a whole bunch of Xboxes because they would order. There apparently some sort of app where they auto did it.
Yeah.
Multiple orders on multiple sites.
They do that, yeah. Because of the eBay crap, they buy it,
Yeah, and so
and they sell it for like 200%.
I saw somebody was selling a pre-order from Amazon. It was $1,500.
Oh my god, that's so stupid.
My question is, who's willing
be
to pay that much?
It should be.
There's
it should be
some
illegal.
jackass.
It
who's
should be
going
illegal
do it,
that. Like there should be some legislation that
There
comes
is.
in.
which a lot of people complained about.
Is there really like some law about that?
No, there was a lot of backlash at Microsoft for how they did it. It was like with this online stuff because a lot of people got
it's
gypped
not
out.
Microsoft's fault unless they buy it directly from Microsoft. It's Target and Walmart and all these retailers that are just like,
But when you
whatever,
have
come
it, when you
take
have
it.
it online at 6 different retailers, you can order it 6 times.
yeah, but I mean,
If
how
there-
are they going to
If
track?
there was a limit on who bought what, because I mean Target and Amazon, if I go to both and buy it,
How are they
they're
going
not
to
going
track?
to know.
How would they fix that then? I mean, at least like instead of buying 6 from Target and 6 from Walmart and whatever, you just buy the one from a retailer and that's the end of it. And the retailer tracks
Yeah,
your order number.
because in store they would block it.
Right.
Like if you came in and tried to do it again. Because I remember like when the Xbox One came out, my buddy, I went with him because he was pre-ordering it, and we went to GameStop, and like they had his information. He was like, "Can I come back and get another one?" They're like, "No," because as soon as you pull out, like either the credit card number will ping off saying he's already bought this based on the amount, or your name.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking. Maybe they just wanted to show how fast they could sell out.
Which was quick.
Yeah, it was faster than PS5, right?
Yes, it was faster than PS5. It went a little smoother than PS5, but I mean, by no stretch of the imagination did it go well.
Oh no. Hopefully somebody's learning some things here. Anyway,
I have one more tidbit,
go for it.
which was bigger news, not bigger news, but overshadowed, that Microsoft had bought
Bethesda.
but they bought the company that owns Bethesda,
ZeniMax.
yes, for $7.5 billion.
Just so we understand, how much did Disney buy Star Wars for? $4.6 billion. That's right. A video game software company
Yes.
is worth more than Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. So ZeniMax is a company that owns Bethesda, which Microsoft already said they're going to leave Bethesda's as its own separate division, leadership, and everything intact. They're not changing anything. They just own it now, and that brings up their development studios to 23. They did
from
own
Microsoft.
15 of them. Now they have 23 of them.
They're doing it kind of smart. They got money.
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation is good at scalping talent and
Yeah.
throwing money at people.
Yeah, Sony will.
for
like
peas
Spider-Man.
and carrots about like, hey, you guys seem like you have a good idea. Here's a little bit of money. Go make a good game. And they do. They make some great games.
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft's like, you're successful. We'll buy you. So they
Make us more stuff.
they just buy crap right out the
PS5.
get-go.
Oh yeah, we have Spider-Man
They,
in the Avengers game.
they also acquired ID Software, which makes Doom, Rage, and Wolfenstein.
That's under ZeniMax too. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Microsoft memed it and just said, "Here, hold my beer."
Yeah. Let me show you how this is done.
So Microsoft acquired a lot of stuff, which a lot of that's probably helpful for that Xbox Game Pass thing.
Yeah,
That's
even
gonna be
if
coming
you
out.
don't know much about video games, I mean, they are the cutting edge, like maybe the most, if not at least tied for the most lucrative entertainment business today right now. Because it's insane how much money, like 20 years ago, there wasn't $1 billion in the industry probably. And
Combined, no.
Yeah. Look how fast it is now. So.
Maybe by the year 2000, you could say that there was, but
Yeah.
I mean, just for Microsoft to shell out $7.5 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah, a great example is CD Projekt Red that people are doing Cyberpunk. If you look at their timeline of their worth,
Cyberpunk 2077.
in the beginning they were worth like less than $1 million, and now they're worth over $1 billion in their creation of their business. What businesses have done that? Very very few. You can probably count them on 2 hands. All right, so that does it for news and reviews for. Oh yeah, TV shows. TV shows. So Nick Fury's getting a TV show. That's right, Samuel L. Jackson. Disney Plus is in talks with him, and they're going to figure out how to wedge him into this Disney Plus TV show lineup to include WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I think that's it. Right? They don't have any.
He will be MFing the entire time.
I don't think
he's
they'll
sick
do that.
of these monkey flipping snakes on this Monday through Friday plane.
I don't think they'll do that. But what'll be, I guess, what they're trying to do is they're trying to bring some continuity to the Agents of Shield. This is purely hypothetical, but the Agents of Shield nonsense that was before Disney had the buyout, and they're going to try and kind of like surround it around Nick Fury's perspective on how Shield came and went into the MCU. So they'll probably make it like a mini series. I think would probably be the smartest way to go about it. You know, that's just me.
You know that Nick Fury has technically existed since World War II. He has like some kind of lifelong serum that helps him stay alive longer.
Then why did he age so much since Captain Marvel?
Huh?
He looks a lot younger than Captain Marvel.
When Captain Marvel takes place
In the 80s? 80s or 90s? 90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's aged.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, he ages, but
And he lost an eye.
He lost an eye, yeah.
he ages, but he can live longer.
Okay.
It's like a minor version of the Captain America serum.
Man, those last 20 years were brutal on him.
Because when Captain America
so.
throws his mighty shield.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. The whole MCU cluster right now is... I'm sure Kevin Feige, the guy that's like in charge of making sure all these stories intertwine...
I'm just picturing that Charlie Day thing with like the board and all the wires.
probably
He's like, this makes sense.
Pulling his hair out, just like going crazy, you know. A lot of actors are out of work. Like Robert Downey Jr. doesn't have any franchises because...
I think he's okay for money, though.
Well, I'm sure he's okay, but he's going to want work, you know.
Yeah.
So he's probably going to come back. If I had to bet.
Well, he did that horrible movie, Doolittle.
That's what I'm saying. That was supposed to be his new franchise, and it tanked. So if I had to bet, he'll come back somehow. They don't kill anybody off in this show. We are in the MCU. We know this.
Well, because they've messed with times, they're theorizing that Krang will, like, Kang the Conqueror will be the new bad guy.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover.
No, Kang. K-A-N-G. And supposedly he'll be, like, because they messed with time, he's like the Time Lord of the world, of the universe. He wants to come back and fix
You
things.
don't mess with time. Think you're pretty smart? Messing with time?
Anyways,
so TV shows. Talking about all this Corona crap. Muppets on Disney Plus. They made a TV show called Muppets Now, and it's only 6 episodes. But I watched it with the kids. We all loved it, and it's cool because they did it like they show kind of like behind the scenes of how a studio would operate during Corona and COVID and stuff like that. And they do it without ever like addressing it. They just say like, you know, they show interviews with celebrities from their homes, and they don't ever use the words, you know, quarantine or Corona or whatever. And it's kind of a breath of fresh air, but it's also like, it's you know, realistic sign of the times. And like my kids' dad, no question about why everybody was quarantined and isolated and
At
stuff
home in
like
their
that.
pajamas.
Yeah, exactly. They knew exactly what was going on.
Were the Muppets at home?
But they didn't scream. Yeah, they were. Some of them were. Miss Piggy was in her home, and then
Oscar the Grouch was in a trash can
no,
outside.
that's Sesame Street, man. Come on, man.
Kermit.
They're puppets.
Kermit, but yeah, so like they do a pretty good job of, and the humor is quite funny, like pretty creative. It's I don't know if you remember like the 2015 The Muppets show. It was a little bit more adult, like they had like an office kind of feel to it. They've definitely like. Because Disney, they definitely like chipped it down a little bit and made the subject matter a little bit more friendly. But yeah, like they'll bring in celebrities. Who does Velma from Scooby Doo? Linda Cardellini or something like that. I don't know. She's in every episode for some reason. She's like the person that Miss Piggy calls on a trash, and that's kind of funny. But yeah, it's a good show, and they're all like 6 23-minute episodes, so it's a lot of fun. If you got kids, it's worth watching with them. So yeah, I'd be ready to see that come back. I'm sure that they will, because there's not a lot on Disney Plus right now, unless you want to spend $30 to watch Mulan
With no Mushu.
I wouldn't recommend.
So yeah, I give it like a 7.5. They got to do some more with it though. It's got Beaker. Beaker.
Did you see that bit in Parks and Rec though?
Which what?
where they make fun of the dude because he looks like Beaker, and John Ralphio just starts giving him the business.
No.
He's like, does he look like Beaker from the Muppets? He's like, he just like gets in this lawyer's face.
My favorite is in the Muppets is they have this like chef cooking show with the Swedish chef, and they bring in like Swedish meatballs, but they bring in like real chefs like to like have a cook off with them, and so he gets jealous and he tries to like incorporate what they're doing. So somebody's baking a chicken, and like finds a chicken, like clubs it, and puts it in the pot, and like it cut to like them like glazing a beautiful chicken. And I'll go back to him, and he's just like trying to strangle a chicken, like fighting its way out of the pot and stuff like that. Like hurdy bird of her, just yelling random Swedish words. So it's pretty funny. The Swedish chef's my favorite.
Like Bobby Glaze, like doing like the blowtorch on like something. Like, then it cuts him. He's like,
pretty much, yeah.
He's like drowning a lobster.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, that's our news and reviews on TV shows, movies, and video games. Again, if you want anything that for us to talk about, let us know, and we will. Let's move on to our main segment of the day. We have a top 10. No, we don't have a top 10 list. We have favorite shows that have action sequences.
Favorite fight scenes for some of our favorite shows.
There you go. Okay.
But not like large scale battles.
Right. So just favorite fight scenes. And we've decided that like we're not going to rate these, and we're just going to talk about specific instances. So take it away, Mitch.
We're going to give you our idea of what we think, and then we'll put a poll up and see what let y'all vote on it afterwards.
There you go.
But we're going to start with Game of Thrones, which Tom, you put Mountain versus Red Viper.
Yeah, we had talked about that one. That was the Tower of Joy one's my favorite, but that was like one of the first scenes I'd actually seen in Game of Thrones, where Prince Oberyn's fighting the Mountain for Tyrion for the trial by combat. And then it's like he beat the Mountain. Then all of a sudden it's like, ooh, oh, ah!
He makes the Mountain look childish until he gets a little overconfident.
Yeah. I mean, he does technically kill the Mountain, but at the cost of. See, it's like a war zone kind of thing. It's just like that's why you have to thirst them out before you gloat.
He's down, but he had a revive.
He self revived long enough to kill him.
It was more like a last stand than a revive.
Yeah, it was martyrdom from the old ones.
Yeah.
Frag out.
I still kind of like the little ice island defense. They had all the cannon fodder, and it was like the 8 guys defending this one little island
until they realized that the lake had refrozen and they could run across it again.
Yeah, for a nondescript amount of time. It could have been days. It could have been months. Nobody knows. All right, cool. What else you got?
We got Breaking Bad, which I don't remember a bunch of fight scenes from that other than the last episode.
There's some skirmishes and stuff. The show is not. It's an action show based off of like the scenarios that they're in, not necessarily like dudes fighting. Yeah. Like there's some shootouts and stuff like that. Like for instance, when the neo-Nazis or whatever get just murked by Walter White in that automatic machine gun or something.
That was the second episode of Breaking Bad I ever saw.
The very end?
Yeah. The first episode I ever saw was the very first episode of the show.
Oh my God.
I watched it on AMC and went, I was like, this is all right. Came back to it years later in college, and my buddy's like, hey, it's like the last episode of Breaking Bad. And I was like, all right, I'll sit and watch it. And I was like, why is he bald?
Did it all make sense?
It did. It all tied in nicely.
It's a good show. My favorite part of the show is when Gus dies, Gus Fring or whatever the guy's name is.
He's the one that owns the chicken stuff?
Yeah.
Where he like
El Pocoyogo. It wasn't necessarily like a fight, but he's like gloating.
It was a bombing.
He's gloating to like his old nemesis, that like disabled Hispanic guy, and then like he's like ringing the bell like a madman as best as he can with his one working appendage, but it doesn't sound right. The bell sounds off, and Gus Fring like realizes that something's not right, and he sees the bomb and then blows up.
He steps out of the room.
But you think like he's dead, and then you see him step out of the room, and you're like, how did he survive that?
It's like Hitler.
And then the camera pans around, you see like half of his face is gone.
It's like a skull and his eyes gone. It's like, ooh, and he's like adjusts his tie, just goes.
Yep, dead.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Yep.
We'll go on to the Walking Dead, which all 3 of us have different ones. Tom, you said the Daryl versus Beta. Have you seen that one?
No, you said that one.
Okay. Well, this is basically you got 3 guys and Beta, which is he's like this. They live among the walkers. They wear like this skin of them on their face.
He's the tall dude who follows the bald chick around, right?
He's the dude from Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
Opie.
Well, he's like freaking Michael Myers in this Walking Dead series, and him and Daryl face off in this like old construction area.
Always a solid place for a fight.
They're like throwing each other through walls and stuff, and
It's just sheetrock. It doesn't hurt that bad.
well, still, they're fighting basically like Rambo kind of knives, like these real big knives. It's just the two of them fighting and throwing each other through walls and beating each other over the head with 2x4s and stuff like that. It's a pretty interesting fight. It's probably one of maybe 2 or 3 one-on-one fights.
Does Daryl win?
Can I spoil this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. That's all I cared about.
The Beta gets thrown down an elevator shaft.
Ow.
Well, he comes back later though, doesn't
Oh
he?
yeah, he's still alive. He's like I said,
He self-rested.
All right, Rick kills Joe. What's that? The neck bite.
That's the one where
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
they're being held at gunpoint and they're like threatening to like kill Carl right in front of Rick and Michonne, and they're like on their knees. Joe gets ready to like these are like just some random roving biker gang that's still alive. Well, they threaten to shoot or they're holding the gun to Rick's head at the last second. He just kind of like rears back, hits him in the nose, and so he misses the gunshot, and then kind of get into like a little scuffle while the other guy's still holding down Carl. Well, Joe like grabs him in a bear hug and is going to make him watch. Oh, since Rick can't do anything, he just reaches in and bites him on the neck and just rips his neck out.
Yeah.
And then they commence to like curb stomping and beating each other because Daryl shows up.
When Daryl shows up, the fight's over. My favorite part of Walking Dead was the action sequence was when the Terminus people were like, I thought the Terminus operation was really cool, but it ended up being kind of like a mid-story arc transition period.
Yeah.
I think they could have just like stuck with that and kept it going, but
There was a lot of build-up.
there was a lot of
Terminus,
build-up.
and
Their little system where they would cannibalize people, you know, they get them and they knock them over the head with a baseball bat and slit their throats and let them bleed out like cattle, and then just like cook them and eat them. I was like, you know, dang, they got it figured out, don't they? So it was a pretty good show.
I think Carol shows up and snipes these like gas cans and blows up the.
Yeah,
yeah.
Carol just goes ape and it was
Carol
over.
went from like useless housewife to abused whatever and broken woman to like the
Level
most
4 spec ops operator.
to like a tier 1 operator.
That's what happens if you survive.
She's got like guns hidden inside of her sleeves.
All right, moving on. Daredevil.
Daredevil. Tom, didn't you say you like the first hallway fight scene?
Is that the one
That's the one where he's like, it's just
you
one
see like
shot.
he's getting
Yeah.
tired, but like so are they, and like they're all just like kind of getting back up, and he just like throws himself in the
The old boy fight scene. Yes.
that was a good fight scene as far as fight scenes go.
I enjoyed the Daredevil versus Punisher where they're just battling on the roof after being chained up. And then it kind of ends with Daredevil or Punisher shooting Daredevil in the face, and he falls off the top of the roof.
Hey, who am I?
John Bernthal
Yeah. Just grunts.
with his broken face.
Throughout the entire Daredevil and Punisher, he's just got like a mangled face.
No.
Like they call the other guy Jigsaw because his face is all cut up, but Daredevil's like beaten the entire time, or
Yeah.
Punisher's beaten the entire time.
He looks like a boxer who's not very good.
He just takes a lot of hits. Then we'll move on to another show, Punisher.
Oh, yeah?
Where he fights Daredevil and shoots him in the face.
Now I like what y'all said y'all don't remember, but it was like their hideout in the first season. It's in like a basement hideout where he's got this little
That was a solid spot.
IT operator kind of guy that's helping him
Yeah.
kind of stay hidden.
The nerd, yeah. Got him. Yeah.
Well, this is like the first scene in that season where he puts the Punisher vest back on, and he's fighting this whole group full of like bad guys that try to charge in and was trying to find him. And he's just like blasting them with a little shotgun, and eventually they get him pinned down. Well, he detonates these explosives. He pops open this box, and there's just got like the big giant light machine gun. He just sets up on the box and starts just walking towards them, just, mowing them down as he's walking towards them.
Yeah.
You had like the bad guys were hiding behind one another trying to get to cover.
It's like it's not gonna work. You guys done goofed.
Has that always been like the Punisher's thing? Like he always hides weapons everywhere.
Yeah.
Stuff like
Well,
that.
yeah, he's kind of like Batman, just more brutal. He'll plan.
He's like Batman with less money, has no qualms in killing people.
Right.
In fact, it's just easier.
Yeah. All right, cool. What else we got?
We got The Witcher, which the village fight is.
yeah.
one
That's
of the
basically
best.
all. Go ahead and talk about the village fight.
Well, when they filmed it, he doesn't actually have a sword hilt. I mean, he has the hilt in his hand and the the crossbar, but he doesn't actually have a blade.
Right.
So a lot of it was them like doing the CGI for the capture for him. That's why it looks like he's moving that fast.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have the weight of the blade actually slowing him down.
Right.
But it actually does a good job of him using all of the sword.
Looks really good.
It's like him fighting 3 people, and he's just moving so fast, because he's supposed to be that good with the sword. But
I like the Strigger fight, which is at the castle scene where he's in the castle trying to get the girl to come back from whatever she came from. That monster. It's called a Strigger.
Oh, yeah. I know
When I read the books, like that was a very like the quintessential Witcher story, and I wanted to see how this TV show would do it. They kind of did it in a weird spot in the show, but it was
it was like mid-season-ish, or
but it was really good. I really liked how they did it, how they incorporated it, and he basically gets his butt kicked.
Yeah,
the
it was very
entire time.
horror-esque.
And yeah, they had like a horror element, and him getting his throat slashed and all this other stuff was right out of the book. It was really good. So,
well, that's our Witcher.
No.
We'll move on to Arrow, which you said you liked the Ra's al Ghul fight.
Yeah, I did like that one. I don't know what it is with Ra's al Ghul and billionaire orphans. He's like, I'm going to train you. You're going to be my heir. It's like, I tried with Batman. That didn't work.
Well, in the CW, Arrow kind of takes on the Batman role.
Yeah,
as
he really does.
That show goes.
But the fight scene, they fight on top of the cliff in the sno, and they take off their shirts because as is custom. And
gotta show off the man.
Oliver picks up 2 swords, and Ra's al Ghul's talking to him, and then they're like, all right, let's go. And he's like, you don't have a weapon. He's like, yeah, I'm going to take yours when you're done with them.
Yeah.
And it's just like, ooh. And then you just watch Ra's al Ghul mop the floor with Oliver.
Like, he's not even swinging. Like, Oliver goes to swing with a sword, and Ra's al Ghul just kind of ducks to the left and right,
I mean, and then, disarms him, takes the swords, and then he stabs Oliver through the chest and kicks him off a cliff. This was season 3, so you already know.
Arrow has its own hallway fight, just like every other action TV show.
Except for other than the Old Boy and the Raid, this one did it before Daredevil and all that.
Oh, yeah.
But that's the hallway fight for Arrow in the very first season. I think it's the season finale of the very first season. That's what got me hooked on watching Arrow. Just because you see him with his bow and arrow go into a hallway and just leave 13 guys laying in the floor. And the way it ended, he bashes a guy's head into the light, then into the wall, and then into the baseboard, and then walks away.
Yeah,
Got him.
It was a good little sequence that you show me, but it wasn't a oneer. They did have cuts into the fight scene. So
And this isn't the best overall fight. This is the fight that got me hooked on watching the show.
yeah. So all right, what's next?
Mandalorian.
Oh, you both said this one part, so.
With the IG-88 character, where he's like, self-destruct. It's like, no!
Yeah.
Like the whole time.
That's a good part.
That was good. A lot of these, some of them were gunfights, but this one being, the future one with blasters.
Yeah.
And, robots. It was solid because it has that Western feel.
Right.
It's very much kind of like at the end of like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
And while it's a serious moment, it still kind of makes you laugh.
It's still lighthearted.
Just watching the robot just like walk through pointing.
Yeah, it's just spinning around and just dudes are dropping and and Mando being that good with his.
Yeah.
You know who does the robot, right?
I don't remember now.
Taika Waititi.
Okay.
Korg.
Who played Hitler.
Yeah, it's true. He did play Hitler.
And Korg. Hey, I'm Korg. You want to get on this big ship?
Hey man, what's going on?
It's Noob Master 69.
I chose the Mandalorian part, Magnificent Seven, where all the Mandalorians show up and basically help Pedro Pascal's Mandalorian escape.
Yeah. That was the one I said. Then you said it was lame because that guy flies up next to him that was giving him
that
the
one
business
part
the whole
is
time
stupid.
and gives him the salute and flies off.
Yeah, you're just
and
like,
you
oh my god.
You poo-pooed.
I did say it was
whole-
dumb, but everything up to that part where he's like
was
barricaded.
cool. Was very, very cool.
Yeah, he's like hiding behind things, and they're trying to figure out how to sneak him out. And
Because you never really get to see in Star Wars Mandalorians in action.
Yeah.
I mean, not in live action.
It's
anyway.
just like when you have like all these intense action sequences, and some dude's like in close proximity, just laser blasting people and whatnot, and then all of a sudden you cut to a wide. There's like this dude like obviously on strings on rope, just being like lowered in with like really crappy sparks coming behind him. It looks like Peter Pan on ice or something like that. It's,
Spider-Man on Broadway.
Yeah, it just doesn't work. So there's that one shot of that, and then like him like flying next to the Mandalorian guy, like just like peering off or whatever. So
Like Batman and Robin going up the side of the building.
yeah.
I'm sure after the first season, though, granted they had a big budget to begin with.
Yeah.
They're going to have even more now.
All right, they're already talking about fourth season.
Yeah, they do.
Season 2 comes out this October.
Let's get through season 2 first. All right, what else you got?
The Peaky Blinders. We all pretty much agree that it's the Mafia fight in season 4.
Yeah, with Adrian Brody. That was a pretty cool little fight.
Just a little shootout.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he made it. He definitely made it awesome for that part. But we gotta.
Yeah. Since we gotta move on, we'll go on to Spartacus. They have the final fight, which is like, I was thinking it was 4-on-4, but it's more like 10-on-10.
Yeah.
They got this ring of fire.
That's a pretty sizable difference.
Well, because they only focus on the 4: Gannicus, Oenomaus, Crixus, and Spartacus. You got the 4 of them, and then you got these other cannon fodder kind of guys that all get killed pretty quickly.
And then you get this. What is that? Spartacus versus Romans. That's season 1, episode 12.
Yeah, that's the one where his like hated nemesis shows up and wants to like either have him put into a ring or arena or something.
Was his name like Greasicus?
I can't remember, but it's like the Legion or the Roman Legion like commander, and he's telling them, he's got that one wooden sword.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
he keeps telling his Roman soldiers to attack him just to show him how good he is.
Anything from the first season was good.
And with the one wooden sword, he beats up 6 Romans that are in full armor with swords.
That was an awesome part. All right, well, we got to keep moving on
because we have to go to work.
We are under a time crunch right now, but that's our meat and potatoes of the segment. Each week, we try and find something that we can collectively talk about and work with the watchers, the listeners, and to our social mediums. So pay attention to what Mitch posts out. Give us some feedback, and then get ready for the next episode, where we will try and take some of your input and implement it for what we talk about next go around. Now we're going to do the punishment wheel. Tom's going to spin a wheel. And it's going to say, you punish this guy, it being one of the
whatever
three of us.
medium.
Me or Hayden.
We'll see what happens here.
Hayden by Mitch movie.
The Garbage Pail Kids.
Oh, man.
I'd never seen that or heard of it, but just on that title alone, it sounds pretty bad.
I saw the trailer.
You're paying for it.
Oh, no, I paid for the last one for you.
I'm not made of money.
It's like $3.
Oh, my God. Cheap swine.
I couldn't. He had the Google login thing.
I did have some free Google money things.
Yeah.
It's an ad for...
Yeah, I've got an
for
ad.
Swimming goggles?
No, some kind
Or is it
of...
an ad for
All right, you have 15 seconds to show me this trailer.
I'm working on
Mitch, we have to go to work.
the ad for American Airlines and MasterCard.
Ooh.
In crime-ridden Detroit,
Like
puppets
a
rule the city.
A scarier Gremlins.
Once upon a time, or was it more recently?
I can't remember. I'm old.
I like the dude previous looked like Benedict.
I have dementia. I don't know how I got here.
He was the sort of child who was always left out of things.
Was he a peeping Tom? He's just looking in this girl's window.
He's got epic haircut.
This kid's a pervert.
Works in a junk shop,
A Michael
owned
Jackson
by the
jacket.
mysterious Captain Nancy, which is
Captain Nancy.
Is that Mr. Bean?
Uh-oh.
Dodger has never had a family
Dodger.
or a friend he could call his own.
So this swarthy guy's going to spin around and throw him into a Victorian chair?
You done it now.
You've unleashed the trash can monster.
It's the ooze.
It's the ooze. It's the blob.
Okay.
All
All right.
This looks like.
Yep, enough of that.
Oh
I
my
think we get it.
Was he
We can
flashing
kill
him?
it here.
He's like, "Nah, look at
So
me."
this is like the trauma version
That
of
kid
Cabbage
looks
Patch
like
Kids.
that kid looked like the Kyle's cousin in South Park, just wearing dark sunglasses. He's
All
like,
right.
I'm big.
Well, I'll be back next week to have my stellar review of Garbage Pail Kids. I'm sure it'll be amazing. I'm sure it'll be
Surely.
above a 5, maybe even higher. We'll see what happens. Thanks, Mitch. And,
Thank you, Mitch.
I don't know why. This is like the 4th week in a row I've been
Oh, I
punished.
feel so horrible for
How many times have you been punished in a row?
5.
All right. Well, yeah.
You're closing in on it. Too bad Tom never gets punished.
Yeah, I know, right? We're making our own wheel, okay? It's gonna happen. All right. Anyway, goodbye from Mitch.
Bye.
Goodbye, Mitch.
Goodbye from Tom.
Goodbye, Tom.
And goodbye from me. And goodbye.
Bye.